what are the key benefits of trading futures? Now, for one, obviously leverage. Okay, futures is a leverage product, but it is very scalable. Now, traders ultimately can have 100% returns a year, okay? And you can double an account. It's very, very possible because of the definition of what leverage gives you, okay? It's what allows us to make $100,000 in a single trade with only a $50,000 account, right? Leverage ultimately allows us to take advantage of really important risk events. And we'll talk about one of those risk events with regards to non-farm payrolls a little bit later on. Now, whilst these events occur infrequently, in other words, outlier events, risk events, they do occur quite infrequently, roughly around 5 times a year. It's very, very important to understand that having that leverage at our disposal is what enables us to make those really good days. But it's not a case of, oh, we take random risks. They are very calculated risks where the probability and the odds are very much stacked in our favor. Okay. Another reason and the benefits of futures is margin trading. Okay. Obviously, with futures, we don't have to put down the full notional value. If you traded a stock like Nvidia, for example, that's at $900 and you bought 100 shares, you're going to need about $90,000 of capital just to take that trade. Okay, so with futures, obviously, it's very much a margined product. And yes, whilst I am referencing all the good stuff about futures, obviously the drawback is when it's margined, it means that you obviously have got the downside as well. Okay, but only having to post a certain amount of capital to have exposure is very important, particularly from a futures trading perspective. Right, liquidity. Futures markets are very, very liquid, okay, especially for the popular contracts like the S&P 500 or gold. High liquidity means that we can enter and exit positions with very large position sizes and avoid partial falls. Okay, and this really matters. We'll talk a little bit about risk in a minute where, everything matters. So if I have to execute a 20 lot in gold, for example, if I had to do that over 3, 4, 5 prices, I'm paying a lot away in slippage. Okay, so because the futures are so deep in terms of liquidity, I can put relatively good positions in the market without even causing any kind of slippage or partial fall. Multiple asset classes. Okay, and this is very, very important. With futures, you can trade all asset classes in essence. Okay, you can execute foreign exchange, you can trade bonds, you can trade interest rates, equity indices, commodities, crypto. You can trade it all via a single centralized exchange. Okay, and it's a very heavily regulated exchange. And again, this really does matter because if you look at the past, some of the blow-ups that have occurred, typically that comes when there's a mismatch of where funds are and who's regulating. So having a product that's very heavily regulated is very important for us as traders. Okay, now coming back to the asset class or the multiple asset classes, this gives us diversification. Okay, very, very importantly, if you look at the last 9 months, trading currencies has been really difficult. Okay, the ranges have narrowed, the volatility's disappeared, which means that in essence, the opportunity scope in FX has disappeared. Now, if you were, for example, solely trading Forex or only trading FX, right, you would have had a really difficult past 9 months. With futures, like I said, because you can trade multiple asset classes all via futures, when the FX goes quiet, you move over to the bonds. When the equities goes quiet, you can perhaps trade the interest rates, okay? Then finally, tech and education, all right? Very, very important. If you look at a lot of the new technology and education that's available nowadays, it's all being geared towards futures trading. Why? Because that's where the demand is, okay? More and more traders are adopting futures because of the benefits I've just mentioned, and a lot more firms are now investing in the technologies and the educations, in particular around futures trading.